actors and artists and celebrities and politicians, like everybody's at Quincy's house. It's like the Wiz without
entertainers and specialists and superstars and lawmakers. It's like everyone's at Quincy's home. It resembles the genius without the ensembles he set up rings in Hollywood and individuals that he got, if you all tell me, from Lee Quincy Jones. Got new Prince Oak. I open the entryway to Dwayne changing area. And that is the point at which I see Dwayne. And having butt-centric with Will Smith has at long last ended his quiet after his previous collaborator uncovered his undertaking with Dwayne Martin, and another insider guaranteed that Quincy Jones acquainted Will with the existence of mystery gay ceremonies in Hollywood. A few group have now approached with comparative stories, and they generally guaranteed Quincy purportedly prepped Will before he cast him in the new ruler of the LURED fans are presently saying this makes sense of a ton about Will and Jada's marriage, and they accept the principal reason Will won't separate from Jada is on the grounds that she knows every one of his mysteries. Yet what precisely Will say regarding these charges? And what's the genuine truth about his relationship with Quincy Jones? We should get into it. There was a lounge chair hum. Will was twisted around on the lounge chair, and Dwayne was standing up killing him, following quite a while of hypothesis about his sexuality. Will Smith at long last chosen to address these charges? Head-on Will's explanation comes after his previous colleague, Sibling Ball, stood out as truly newsworthy recently, with claims that he strolled in on Will, and his supposed darling Dwayne Martin. In the meantime, reports additionally surfaced that it was Quincy Jones who acquainted Will with the existence of mystery gay gatherings, where up-and-coming entertainers need to perform for industry leaders. Now, to give a few contacts, Will met Quincy at one of Quincy's local gatherings when he was around 19 or 20, and Will later credited Quincy for saving his vocation. After the underlying progress of his hip-jump team DJ, Lively Jeff in the new Sovereign, Will began blowing cash, and by 1989, he had owed the IRS almost $3 million. However, at that point, he wound up at one of Quincy's industry gatherings. And his life changed Benny Medina, who, by the way, was subsequently blamed by entertainer Jason Dooley for so was likewise at the party, and he acquainted Will with Quincy and tested out him the thought for a new Prince sitcom Quincy made will try out on the spot, and he was dazzled to such an extent that he promptly got his attorneys to map out an agreement anyway. There's been a ton of theory throughout the long term that when Quincy made will try out, he requested something more. These hypotheses originate from well-established reports about Quincy being the gay guard in Hollywood who tosses secret gatherings where more seasoned chiefs go youthful up-and-coming entertainers and vocalists. And afterward, a couple of years prior, reports arose that vocalist Tevin Campbell, who emerged as gay in 2022, was tried by Quincy. Curiously, Will specifies in his self-portrayal that he saw Tane at Quincy's party. That evening, when Quincy made him try out for new ruler, Will composes, "When I showed up, the party was on full bang. Everyone was there from Steven Spielberg to Tevin Campbell, Stevie Miracle, and Lionel Richie were showing up as I pulled up. That was a lot for me. I realized I didn't have a place there." Now, Tevin later rejected that Quincy attempted him anyway. The theory didn't end there in light of the fact that meanwhile reports surfaced that Quincy had a go at something almost identical with Tupac. As per different industry insiders, Tupac, who dated Quincy's girl, Kayda Jones, had plans to leave death row in sign with Quincy's mark, preceding his demise in '96 anyway. As per bits of gossip, Tupac turned down Quincy's arrangement after Quincy made a revolting proposition. Tupac supposedly expressed this in his Energy interview with Angie Martinez. And keeping in mind that a few pieces of this interview can be found web-based, there's an enormous part missing. See, the meeting endured more than 2 hours anyway. Angie broadcasted just 12 minutes. When Announcement Magazine asked her for what good reason she didn't deliver the entire meeting, Angie said she stressed Tupac's remarks would have made East Coast versus West Coast hamburger more regrettable than it previously was at that point anyway. Tupac didn't simply discuss his problem with the East Coast for 2 hours. He purportedly additionally made a few stunning claims about Quincy Jones. And evidently, this piece of the meeting was spilled after Pac's passing. Before it was immediately covered again, many individuals who were mature enough to recall when this previously spilled have said they heard Tupac expressly saying that he trimmed Quincy off after Quincy requested him for a sexual blessing. One from the business figures who guaranteed this as previous public faux part, Teacher Griff, who asserted that Quincy had various individuals disposed of to safeguard his mystery when Tupac came to Hollywood. It was the gay custom. This is where the gay people openly opposed me, yet I wouldn't fret. I wasn't discussing gay people. I'm saying there's a gay custom that they go through in the Illuminati secret framework it is. And it is Tupac said. He was asked by Quincy Jones, and when Tupac said, no, that is when Tupac was ridiculed for death. Why, on the grounds that Tupac was locked in to Quincy Jones' girl, Quincy Jones' little girl. Was dearest companion was Aaliyah, was locked into Woman Run Now. If you all follow these individuals, back every one of them either passed on or was brought to room. Teacher Griff likewise asserted that Quincy set up Aang in Hollywood and compelled numerous youthful male performers to take part in his gay customs. And afterward, Teacher Griff recommended that Will Smith was one of these men. And he called attention to that Will's most memorable film job in the wake of meeting Quincy was 6 levels of division, where he played a gay swindler. I think what caused a stir with individuals is the point at which I drew the data about Quincy Jones. All let the chips fall any place they fall. That is correct. This man was one of the ones dependable. He had a magazine supported by Warner siblings and captured him. He set up sex rings in Hollywood and individuals that he got, if you'll tell me, from Lee. Quincy Jones got New Sovereign, and his most memorable film was What 6 Levels of Detachment. And this carries us to the charges about Will and Dwayne Martin. These two started up a cozy relationship after Dwayne showed up in one episode of The New Ruler. Yet after some time, tales began circling that the idea of their relationship had changed, and afterward, in 2012, Star magazine distributed an elite report guaranteeing that Will and Jada were near the very edge of separation. After Dwayne divided them, one insider let Star know that Will took Dwayne on an excursion to Trinidad, and an observer there purportedly spotted them having a heartfelt supper. The source guaranteed that Jada was enraged in light of the fact that Will was disregarding the family for Dwayne. Will invests essentially additional time with Dwayne than he does with Jada and the children. The insider said, adding that Jada feels like Will fills his relationship with Dwayne in front of her, bringing him on extraordinary getaways, while she's sitting back home alone. Moving along in 2018, Dwayne's better half, Tisha Campbell, sought legal separation. And after 2 years, Tisha remarked on Jada's trap circumstance, with August Alina apparently affirming that something occurred among Will and Dwayne. Tisha shared a message on Instagram about how reality generally turns out eventually, and she answered a fan remark saying they will lie till the end. The genuine kicky as individuals will quit accepting them now. Tisha named no names except for notice how she composed Will in all covers 2 times. And presently on top of this, Will's previous right-hand sibling Ballal dropped a stunner in his new meeting with Tasha K, asserting that he got Will and Dwayne in the demonstration. And afterward I saw acts that when I strolled in on who you stroll in on him and Dwayne Martin. So all I opened the entryway to Dwayne Dress of Rome. And that is the point at which I see Dwayne, and having butt-centric, with will allow me to deal with that briefly. There was a love seat, and Will was twisted around on the sofa, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him murder like homicide. It was murder in there. And it seems to be Bal's meeting. Set off Will since that very day a rep for Will gave an assertion to TMZ saying this story is totally created. And the case is unequivocally misleading. In the meantime, another source near will let TMZ know that Will is thinking about making a legitimate move against Ballo. Now a ton of fans are saying it's odd that Will wanted to put out an authority proclamation on the grounds that Ballo didn't blame him for any wrongdoing. So Will's response appears to be a little over beyond ridiculous one way or another. Most fans concur that it's not up to be to out Will anyway. They're likewise saying this makes sense of a ton about Will and Jada's marriage. For however long, he's not keeping anybody prisoner to maintain his sexuality mystery. Then who cares, one fan said, yet assuming he was reciting an untruth that was making his better half or anybody carry on and appear to be insane in light of the fact that he was unable to confront reality with regards to himself. That would be an issue for me. Any other way, it doesn't exactly make any difference concerning Quincy. Many fans are saying they accept every one of the charges about his gay ceremonial gatherings. Somebody said checks out in light of the fact that once upon a time, Quincy would have rather not managed individuals of color, perhaps on the grounds that they would have rather not tolerated BS. And someone else composed, "I heard the sound of Tupac."